Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of Thucydides book 4, the selections of therefrom, and we're up to chapter 28. And you remember that there had been reports back to Athens about what was happening on Pylos, and Kleon dismissed these as fake news and said if he was in charge he could make it all. He would be able to achieve success there. Well, that backfires badly on him. Nicias will hold the subject for a moment with a genitive absolute, tone de Athenaion, hupathoron bone santon. So the Athenians literally making some sort of uproar to some extent in regard to Kleon, perhaps murmuring against it, sometimes translated here, but raised some clamour in regard towards Kleon because he was not at that time sailing, because he did not sail at once, even if indeed it appeared, so the task appeared to him, Raidion, to be easy. And at the same time, Nicias, seeing him, that is Kleon, epitimonta, taunting him. So Nicias then gave orders, or bid him, so gave orders for him. On the next page it's Labonta, having taken a force, any force which he wanted, so take any force that he liked. So there's the Labonta. To epis vas aenai is a funny little expression here. It means something like as far as they, the generals, were concerned, as far as it was for them, as far as the generals were concerned. Epi kairein, to, and you've got to supply something like to ergo here, to put his hand to the task. So the sense here then is they bid him, having taken any force he chose, as far as they were concerned, to undertake, understand, the expedition, or put his hand to the task. But he, Tomin Proton, at first he was hetoimos, he was prepared to, thinking that him, that's Nicias, only in pretense, aphienai, to relinquish, understand, power. So he was ready to, initially, thinking that Nicias was only pretending to give up power, but Gnus, having realized that in reality now this is from paradidomi, but it's a desiderative form. You'll notice that epsilon iota there ending before the or infix before the ending. This makes it desiderative, and this is actually rare in Thucydides, but it's intending to hand over, but realizing in reality him intending to hand over power. Anakore, well, it's a bit like how he backed off, and he said that he himself was not stratagain, that he himself was not in the generalship, but ekanon, that one, i.e. this is referring to Nicias. And fearing now also that he would, and thinking that he would not dare, hypocoresai, to relinquish power, hoi, to him. So that hoi is for auto, it's reflexive because he's the subject of the sentence. This is referring to Kleon. And thinking that he, Nicias, would not dare to relinquish power to him. But Nicias Altis immediately gave orders, and existator, he stood back from the command, the leadership against Pylos, and he called as the Athenians as witnesses. But they, hoion oklos phile poien, as the mob loves to do, hosso malon, and it's balanced by tosso down here. So by as the more that Kleon, so by as much as Kleon, huperfuge, tried to escape from going on the voyage, and he ex anacore, he backtracked from what he had said. So the more he did that, by so much more they called upon Nicias to hand over the leadership, the arcane, the power, and they epiboan, they shouted ekano at that one, that is Kleon, plain to sail, so that not having, so it's not knowing really how he might apologe, how he might escape, he might separate himself further from what he had said. So with the result that he was not knowing how he could separate himself from what he had said, how he could escape from what he had said, he undertook the voyage. And coming forward, he said that, we get an ute, but there's only one of them I think here, that neither was he frightened of the Spartans, and that he would sail, future infinitive here, and that he would sail, having taken no one from the city, but taking the Lemnians and the Imbrians who were present, and the Peltasts, these are light-armed troops, the Peltasts, who were Bebotheikotes, this is from Boathio, who were having rendered aid, so who were in a state of giving assistance from Oinos. So Oinos is a town on the coast of Thrace, and 400 archers Anothen from elsewhere. And having these, he said, in 20 days, within 20 days, having these things, and in addition the soldiers who were in Pylos, he said that within 20 days, either he would bring back, future infinitive from ago, the Spartans alive, or apoktenein, future infinitive, he would kill them. Autu is there, it's that locative use of autu. He would kill them there. This is a standard use, classical use. It's in Homer as well. Tois athenaios, well, it's a certain laughter, so a certain degree of laughter, en epesen, fell upon the Athenians at this, well, it's literally a light speech, so it's perhaps boastful speech of him, perhaps flippant speech might be good there. At his flippant speech, And then we have a difficult little bit here, I think. So with the egignetos, the matter nevertheless was for the wise of men, so for the sober-minded among the men, for them being glad. So the matter was for them a matter of gladness for the more sober of the men, for them reckoning that Thucydides is the future infinitive from tunkano. That's a bit tricky there. This is from tunkano, to meet with, and we get a dual. So they would meet from two good things. They would get one or the other. So they would get achieve one of two good things. Either they would be they would be separated from Kleon. They'd be rid of Kleon, which they hoped most of all, or sphallasin. This is from sphallo. It's literally slip. It's the aorist passive dative participle here. So having slipped, so having been disappointed with this gnome, with this expectation, with this thought. So if they didn't get rid of Kleon, they would keros this is subdue, that the Spartans were about to be subdued by them. This is actually future middle, so it might be that you've got to supply Kleon here. So if they missed out on their expectation that Kleon would subdue the Spartans for them. And that's the end of that chapter.